that they were 12 men chosen to follow Jesus, to spread his message and to lay the foundation for Christianity. But what happened to them after Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection? This is the fate of the 12 apostles. Peter, the leader of the apostles, spread the gospel far and wide, even reaching Rome. Under Emperor Nero, he was martyred, crucified upside down as he felt unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus. His final days were spent strengthening the early Christian community, writing letters that would later become part of the New Testament, and solidifying the church's leadership. Peter's brother Andrew took the message to Greece and Asia Minor. He was crucified on an X-shaped cross in Patras, believing himself unworthy to die on a traditional cross. Andrew preached for days while hanging on the cross, converting many even in his final moments. The first of the apostles to be martyred, James, was executed by the sword under King Herod Agrippa there in Jerusalem around 44 AD. His execution was a turning point for early Christians, intensifying persecution. Despite this, James's impact was profound, and his remains were later moved to Santiago de Compostela, making it one of Christianity's most important pilgrimage sites. Unlike his fellow apostles, John lived a long life. He was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. John also played a crucial role in guiding and strengthening the early church, mentoring future Christian leaders. Tradition holds that he died peacefully in Ephesus, the only apostle to die of natural causes. Philip spread Christianity in Asia Minor and was crucified in Hierapolis. Some accounts suggest he was stoned before being crucified. Philip performed many miracles, including healing the sick, which drew both followers and enemies. His preaching led to his arrest and eventual execution. Bartholomew preached in India and Armenia. He faced one of the most gruesome deaths. He was flayed alive and then beheaded. His relentless mission to spread Christianity made him a revered figure, and his legacy remains strong in the Armenian church today. Thomas traveled as far as India, where he established Christian communities that still exist today. He was speared to death by Hindu priests who opposed his teachings. Despite his initial doubts about Jesus' resurrection, Thomas became one of the most devoted apostles, spreading the faith across great distances. The former tax collector Matthew wrote the gospel that bears his name. He preached in Ethiopia and Persia, where he was reportedly stabbed to death. His gospel remains one of the most influential texts in Christian history, emphasizing Jesus' teachings and fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies. James, also called James the Less, was believed to have led the church in Jerusalem. He was thrown from the temple and then beaten to death. Despite his tragic end, his leadership was instrumental in uniting Jewish and Gentile converts in the early church. Jude preached in Mesopotamia and Persia. He was clubbed to death for his faith. He is often associated with hope and perseverance, and his name is invoked by those facing desperate situations. Simon traveled to Persia, where he was either sawed in half or crucified, depending on the account. Some stories also place him in Britain, spreading the gospel far beyond the Roman Empire's borders. His fervent devotion earned him the title, the Zealot. The most infamous of the 12, Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Overcome with guilt, he hanged himself. His betrayal is a cautionary tale of greed, regret, and the consequences of forsaking faith. The apostles devoted their lives to spreading the teachings of Christ, and many paid the ultimate price. Their sacrifices laid the groundwork for Christianity as we know it today. Their courage, faith, and perseverance continue to inspire believers around the world.